Welcome back. Let's get to other important stories outside of the RBI monetary policy. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that Max Financial is seeking IRDAI approval for the Axis Bank Max Life deal. Yash brings us the exclusive details. Yash.
Well, that's correct, Rima. So it's essentially a step closer to that long-standing Axis Bank Max Life transaction. What we've been given to understand from our sources is that Max Financial has moved the insurance regulator, that is IRDAI, to seek the regulatory approval when it comes to the second tranche of this transaction, under which Axis Bank buys nearly about 7% stake in Max Life Insurance. What we've been given to understand, in terms of more details as far as the papers for this particular transaction, all the requirement is concerned on the paperwork side has been filed with the insurance regulator. The insurance regulator is currently assessing all the documentation as far as acquisition of that 7% stake in Max Life is concerned. Interestingly, of course, as the company had also announced to the exchanges, the price which has been given for the acquisition of this 7% stake is about 113 rupees per share. The company has also told the insurance regulator that this is the fair market value that both the companies, Axis Bank and Max Financial Services, have arrived at as far as this particular 7% stake is concerned. This, remember, was as per the instructions of the insurance regulator, where the regulator had asked these companies to conduct the transaction at a fair market value. What we've been given to understand is that this could take about 20 to 25 days as far as the regulatory assessment is concerned, where the insurance regulator IRDAI would also consult the other regulators here, which could be SEBI as well as the Reserve Bank of India. And finally, in about 20 to 25 days as per our sources, an approval or any sort of objection or observation could be granted to both the companies as far as this transaction is concerned. Do remember, Axis Bank already owns about 12.99% stake. With the acquisition of this 7% stake, they will take the total stake to nearly 20%. The pricing of the second part of the transaction is nearly 4 times the pricing of the first part of the transaction. So that's one important point. We've written to both the companies as far as this particular transaction is concerned. A response from both of them remains awaited.
Yes, we reported source base that the market regulator SEBI was also looking at this particular transaction. I mean, not this one, but I think the first tranche of that particular transaction. So how does this tie in that sense? Because now they're saying 113 is 113, right?
Correct, 113 rupees
is the fair market, is the fair value. So just sort of run us through what the first sort of tranche happened at and what was the issue back then. And if there are any implications for the earlier transactions which were, as we reported, under the purview of SEBI, looking at that closely. Go on.
So, Prashant, look at these two tranches of transactions at two separate transactions. As far as the first part is concerned, where about 12.99% stake was acquired, that was done at an average price of 32 rupees per share, where the insurance regulator raised its objection, saying that this is not fair market value, there is discrepancy in the pricing, and a penalty was imposed by the insurance regulator. At the same time, you correctly pointed out, and we've reported it as sources, market regulator SEBI also sought certain documents from the companies about that pricing, because the insurance regulator had objected to that, and that investigation in that particular matter is currently ongoing. I've been given to understand that time and again in the last, recent past also, information has been sought from the insurance regulator on that particular transaction. SEBI is currently looking at the first part. The second part is to be looked at as an outcome of that objection which was raised in the first part, where the company now is saying that you asked for a fair market value. This is what we've arrived at as fair market value at 113 rupees per share. Now you look at this price and give us an observation in terms of, do you agree with the fact that this is fair market value? And if yes, then give us the approval. But of course, the first tranche, IRDAI is done with its investigation. A penalty has been imposed. Market regulator SEBI is still investigating into it and still looking at various aspects of that transaction.
All right, Yash, thanks very much for that. That's a exclusive story. The Axis Max Life sort of transaction. The latest, of course, is with the IRDAI for its go-ahead for its approval. Well, you got the